What I'm going to talk about really is Prudential is an iconic brand. But for us, the challenge is to make it an iconic and dynamic brand, a brand that's relevant, a brand that's engaging, and a brand that sort of inspires trust and confidence and is relevant to the category today, as well as outside the category. Our competitive sort of benchmarks are not so much the the Fidelities and the Mets. We definitely want to compete with them head to head, but we want to be more like the Googles and the Southwest of the world. So that's sort of our North Star. That's where we're headed. So the story I'm going to tell today is the first chapter of what we see as a multi-year campaign. We launched a new brand campaign over Memorial Day last year. And it's been a really interesting journey to get there and then to see how the last 6 months have sort of evolved. The presentation and the content and what we're talking about is not nearly as fun as pants and drinking beer, but it is serious because that's what gets you to buy those pants and keep those pants and drink that beer. So keep that in mind as we walk through this. One of the things that we found through our research is, I think everybody knows Pru and Prudential and The Rock, but there is a concerted gap, a wide gap between who Pru really has been over the last 10 years and what is current understanding of the brand as such. So a quick true or false, and please participate with me here. These are easy questions, but we're number 2 in Fortune's world's most admired insurance companies. Yes, true? Okay. One of the world's largest asset managers. How many of you who are involved in financial services realize that Prudential actually is one of the top mutual fund companies and one of the largest institutional asset managers? Certainly, I did not know that before I joined Pru, which was a little over a year ago. The industry pioneer in variable annuities, and it's not only pioneer but leadership from a product and sales standpoint, but also from a technology and innovation standpoint. The product runs on very sophisticated computer algorithms. Again, a story of sort of bridled innovation, which is not being told. For those who don't know what an annuities is, it's the corollary to insurance. Insurance is protection if you were to pass away too early. Annuities is the protection you need if you live too long, which is, as we'll see, a real risk for a lot of us who are living longer. One of the top performing financial stocks of the decade, true. 70% of affluent consumers have a really favorable view of the brand. They trust Prudential, and given what's happened in the category, I think this number is really amazing. But there is a precipitous drop-off from that 70% number to almost a single-digit number when it comes to preferred brand. And really, that's where our opportunity and the challenge was. And then 64 on Fortune 500 and climbing, true, yes. And then finally, this is a giveaway. You cannot answer false because I'm here, a company that attracts top talent. But that's true. It's a real initiative from the Office of the Chairman. And again, a story not told. I think the talent that we have within the organization has really not been brought forth adequately, especially from a brand perspective. And we know that from achieving that preferred brand status, the trust in the team and the leadership and the talent is paramount. So that's where we started. That's our challenge, to really position Prudential as the preferred brand in financial services, right? So here's the campaign, and I'll walk through very quickly. Our objective in terms of repositioning, the first chapter as we saw it was to really force reappraisal. We wanted people to get up and say, huh, that's Pru? Really? I did not know that. And that's really the reaction that we were hoping to get. Our brief that we gave to our partner agencies, Droga 5, and you'll see a lot of the work that came here that I'll show that comes from Droga 5 as well as the internal agency, is to inspire confidence. Again, and as you all know with the Occupy Wall Street, there is a lack of confidence in one's abilities, in the financial advisor community, in the companies themselves, and that's what we're out to do. And our purpose in the context of inspiring confidence is to build a financial world that works smarter for everyone. Very lofty, yes, but I think very true to the DNA of the company. The smart piece of it is the innovation, the thinking, the talent for everyone. That's key. It's not only for the 1%ers, but for everyone. The expression, bring your challenges. That's our platform. And we thought that it gives us a kind of swagger that Pru has never had, right? It's an implicit and explicit invitation to come be part of it. It's not chest thumping in a way that we know we can solve all the challenges, because we can't, but we want you to bring them to us so that we can work together in building a financial world that works smarter for everyone. So the opportunity, and you're going to now start seeing some of the creative, is really for us to look at this challenge and see if we can provide informed optimism to the financial speak, right? Informed means that at any point in time, we're creating value to that interaction and the engagement. And the optimism is, I think we're all in need and want of an uplifting message, and that's sort of the creative undertone of the campaign. To be able to achieve this, and especially in the digital world, we defined 5 core behaviors that was going to take Prudential from an iconic brand to being a dynamic brand. First, we need to be able to demonstrate a vision. 2, we need it to be relevant in a lot of ways, in terms of media behavior, in terms of messaging. We wanted to be engaged in innovation. We are engaged in innovation, but we also wanted to showcase that. But we also wanted to use media opportunities to be able to showcase that innovation and do things differently. Achieving brand ubiquity. This is no small feat. We wanted to make sure that our brand was present across where our people were and made sure that our message got through. And then finally, establishing an ecosystem of tools. So I'll show you some examples of the work that sort of embodied these 5 behaviors. The first one, demonstrating a vision. I talked a little bit about annuities and the fact that we're living longer and how annuities protect you from the risk of living longer. It is very real. Our generation and the generation just retiring is going to live on average 13 years longer than any other previous generation. And the real risk is outliving money. And we took that insight and of people's desire to live their retirement in the lifestyle that they wanted it to be, and created with our partners Day One. Day One is really, we went out and recruited and casted for across the sort of consumer universe, people who were retiring, and really went out and talked to them over a full day of the first day of their retirement. And you couldn't script this. No writer could have written this, because these are authentic, true stories of people on day one of their retirement. And what I'm going to show you is a video that's a 30-second spot of a documentary that is between 3.5 to 4 minutes long. And there are 4 or 5 of these. Day One Stories was the website that was created. If you could just play the video.
There was a little bit of trepidation, not quite knowing what the next phase was going to be, because you've been, this is what you've been doing, working. And now you're talking about, well, I won't be, and I get the chance to spend more time with my wife and my kids. It's my world. That's my world.
So different than what you would expect from a financial services company, but clearly demonstrating what we're in the business of, is really securing people's retirements. On the flip side, one of the key aspects of this campaign was to engage the key influentials, right? The decision makers. I'm sure you have 401ks. Chances are that Prudential is your 401k provider. You probably have group insurance through your workplace. Chances are Prudential's out there. And one thing you may not know is a lot of the 401k, the pension plans, are actually managed at the back end with an asset manager like Prudential. So here's another video that we used. We developed a series of video content. We really got into the content distribution and creation business. We went out, interviewed our thought leaders, interviewed external thought leaders, and came up with a series of video content that talked very specifically about the issues that we're facing today. This is an example of one such video that we developed.
Innovation in financial services often sounds scary.
Financial innovation has actually gotten a pretty bad rap over the last few years, and for good reason.
When things go well, a lot of the tough questions don't get asked.
There are costs of giving promises today that can't be funded.
Prudential doesn't innovate just for the sake of innovation. You've got to balance the newness of the idea with what's really the merit of the idea. Is it going to help them live better and have a better financial future because we've brought this to them?
Those ideas that we do take to market are based on our ability and our proven track record of adding value.
One of the key reasons why I think Prudential fared so well through the market crisis was our focus on risk and risk management. We're entering a new era of risk, and as a result, Americans need different products and different solutions to help manage the risk.
We're running short on time, but this gives you an example of the content that we created and sort of distributed it. Engaging in innovation, and here I would just want to talk very quickly about two examples. We worked with Wall Street Journal, and here's a different way of working with our media partners. We actually shared our brief with them, and we said, come to us with integrated ideas across digital, across print, and help us launch the brand in the way that we wanted to. So with Wall Street Journal, we had an unprecedented 3-month buy on the homepage where we created polls and video content. We actually merged their editorial with our content. So it was pretty funky. It did really, really well, especially with the key influentials. On the iPad with the New Yorker, we know that people like to play games. And so it's a very simple spot the 5 differences, and out pops. Every time you find a difference comes a retirement fact that you didn't know. So again, the casual interaction with the brand. Midtown Tunnel, I don't know if you guys know this, but people living in New York City, British Airways had the Midtown Tunnel billboard for about 15 years, and it came available 3 months ago. And we took that opportunity, and we actually cast day 1 in New York. We also have a radio feed that's running where you can hear the documentaries, the stories of New Yorkers. Again, a great example of integrating out of home with digital, as well as making it absolutely relevant and local. On March 7th, the day after Super Tuesday, you're going to see America Speaks from Prudential. It's going to be an exciting, I hope you go and visit CNBC or Washington Post or New York Times. Again, it's a way of being relevant. We're asking Americans to share their sentiment as it relates to retirement and financial services in general. We're looking at also using Facebook. We're treading cautiously there. But we found topics that, like the veterans issues and the work that Prudential is doing in making sure that our returning warriors are employed and have the sort of training and opportunities available to them. So we found Facebook a great sort of medium to help us do that. Achieving brand ubiquity. I mean, these are just simple examples of how we've taken the creative style and made Prudential one brand across the globe. One of the things that I'd like to point out when we talked about video distribution, especially in the digital space, relevance was really key. And what you're going to see here very quickly, look at the completion rates that we've had for these 3.5-minute documentaries. It's through the roof. It blew me away. And I think it was only because we were giving people the opportunity to participate and view our content in ways that were absolutely relevant to them. We're moving in the right direction. I think some of the key brand attributes that we had set out to sort of move the needle on, we're getting there. We're not quite there yet. It's only been 6 months. Finally, we do believe that we're setting the stage for dynamic and iconic brand status. We're talking about issues that are relevant to people. These are print examples, but they could easily be digital as well. So what do I leave you with? 5 takeaways. I think we've heard this over the last couple of days ad nauseum. Impressions to engagement. Content delivery to content creation and distribution. Aaron from Budweiser talked about the same thing. That's what we're in the business of as well. I think this is key. As media, we look at it as share of voice, and we've traditionally looked at it that way. I think we want to look at it from a share of choice perspective. We want consumers to make that choice, and our audiences to make that choice of actually interacting with us. Persuasive messages. How many times do you go out there and buy insurance or annuities or things of that sort? I think between those funnel considerations where we're so focused on, we want to create opportunities for having casual interactions with the brand. And I showcase some examples there. And then finally, every challenge is an opportunity, and especially for us, I think going forward, I think Bob Garfield from Ad Age probably said this, if you like change, if you dislike change, you'll dislike being irrelevant even more. And that's the opportunity for us to make sure that we continue to be a dynamic and relevant brand. So, questions?
Thank you so much.
I know I probably
yes,
went over.
Niharika, I don't know that we have time for questions, but you will be around over the course of the rest of the afternoon. So if any of you feel free, have questions, feel free to approach Niharika. She'll be happy to answer them for you. It's amazing what you've done in 6 months. I'd love to have you back in another 6 months to see what you've accomplished.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.